The government is versus the people. The court ruled that the illegal migrant hotel in Epping had to close. This meant that councils up and down the country are now taking the government to court to get their migrant hotels closed. And the government, as far as I can understand it, basically had four options. Option number one, mass deportations. Option number two, admit that they were wrong about Rwanda, which, by the way, several Labour MPs have now done, and they are calling comically for a Rwanda-style scheme. Anyway, option number three, move them into HMOs, houses of multiple occupancy. Option number four, fight the public. And they chose option number four. It's just ludicrous, isn't it? It's ridiculous. They chose to fight the public. Bad move. But gosh, you know, this is the kind of thing where you'd want to see your Home Secretary come out, front up to it, maybe put a plinth outside Downing Street, sell it to us. Come on, Yvette, sell it to us. Where is she? Yes, she's reportedly gone interrailing around Europe with her husband, Ed Balls. So, I'm sorry, but at this particular moment in time, she's essentially fled the country whilst we've got all of this going on. I think that's pretty pathetic. By the way, some Labour MPs, as I was saying, are now calling for that Rwanda-style scheme. And Security Minister Dan Jarvis, who? Yeah, me neither. Dan Jarvis said,
"We've made a commitment that we will close all of the asylum hotels by the end of this Parliament, but we need to do that in a managed and ordered way."
We know what that means, OK? So we need to close all the asylum hotels by the end of this Parliament, but we need to do it in a managed and controlled way. We know what it means. Close the hotels, approve a load of asylum seekers, like the overwhelming majority of them, and then move them into houses around the country. There are set to be around 27 protests around migrant hotels this weekend. The British government is supposed to protect and represent the British public, is it not? But today, by fighting to keep migrant hotels open, I think they decided to go to war with the people. And just in the last hour, we had Reform UK's new policy on the illegal immigration. I know you've all heard it in here, but we have a spike in viewers at 10 p.m, so I'll remind our viewers at home. That policy is to arrest and detain anyone in disused military bases that comes here illegally and keep them in disused military bases until they are deported. To do a returns agreement with Afghanistan and Eritrea and other similar countries to obviously just send people back there. They also say that they will use some British overseas territories, for example, the Ascension Islands, where they can fly people over to. They want 5 deportation flights every day, and they will make it a criminal offence to return to Britain once you've been deported, which ridiculously, apparently, it isn't already. So, there you go. Anyway, that's the latest on it. Let's go to my panel. Let's get the views of my audience. There's a gentleman on the front row here. I think you wanted to make a point, did you, about this, the government essentially picking a fight with the people over the migrant hotel issue. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. I just don't see how the government can really go against the public word. As, you know, they're meant, like you said, they're meant to be protecting us. They're meant to be, you know, defending our country, but it seems that mass migration and everything, that they just seem to smashing the gangs and stuff, like they just go back on it and they seem to be defending them instead. So I just wanted to really ask, like, what is it that you can see Labour's going to do about it? Like, do you know if there's anything that's going to happen in the future and how reform is going to recover this?
Well, I mean, I think Labour is, like we said, maybe just going to try to use the HMOs, which I think people might think is worse than hotels. But and I mean, Reform have just set out their plan. But can I ask you? I mean, you obviously feel very, very strongly about this. Do you just feel quite let down by the government when it comes to the migrant hotel?
Yeah, I feel very let down. I mean, as a young Christian male, you know, I stand on my values of, you know, I believe in Jesus, and with the migration, bringing Islam and bringing some extreme views into this country, I feel very unsafe. So as a young man, you know, and for the British public, it's very, you know, disturbing seeing, like, all these guns being found in camps.
Being found in camps. I mean, that's a good point about the guns. I mean, it's a ridiculous thing, and we know that there's been people who've brought over, you know, people who've been sympathetic towards ISIS, which I think is what you were getting at there, as well. So yeah. All right. Well, let's open this up to the panel. Jonathan, your views on initially Labour basically taking the people to court over migrant hotels.
Well, it's a position they probably feel that they have to in order to actually make sure that in the interim they're able to hold people in some sort of facility. I think if they came out with a very serious plan of what's the alternative, Dan Jarvis had an absolute nightmare on the media round when he was asked well, when you keep saying a range of options, what is a range of options? The fact that he couldn't answer that shows how little they've even thought about when it comes to ending hotel use, where are people going instead. What Labour's done very cleverly is they'll dine out on the fact that the backlog has got down by another, I think, around 20,000. What they don't then say is actually the overwhelming majority of those people are being approved to remain in this country indefinitely. We know around 63% or so who come over end up being given the right to remain in the country. We know that if you then are not initially and you appeal it, it's then a 50-50 chance. So absolutely, the odds are always stacked in your favour when it comes to coming across the channel. We know this deal with France is one out and 17 in at best, 94% chance of you being able to stay in this country. Another joke for this Labour government to have to overcome. So I think the reality is that they're just not being frank and honest with the British people. And so that's why reform will be rightly getting a lot of plaudits when they say you have to actually detain and then deport. And detaining means having people locked away where they are not able to go and roam or illegally work, has been exposed by GB News and The Sun and others in the black market, whether that be in the drug trade or whether that just be in delivering food, as well as obviously making sure that we then know that these men, predominantly men, are locked up because there is a serious risk with their medieval attitudes in some cases towards the women and children of this country.
I think, Christo, I think the optics of basically now we've had the big verdict at Epping. 27 or so other areas are trying to follow suit on that, so they got the ball rolling. For the government to now step in and try to block that, I just think it's a really dumb move.
Well, it's ego, isn't it? It's Keir Starmer. He can't bear it, can he? He cannot bear that man's ego. Is honestly, it's the size of the Bell Hotel. It's the size of any asylum hotel, because he can't bear the thought that people might be trying to, and the council might be challenging his authority, and that is, you know, over and above anything else, what he cares about. And I'm so annoyed for you. I'm so annoyed for all of us, because we have a housing problem in this country. It is a massive housing problem. Today, as things stand, we're 5 million houses short. And so you're absolutely right when you say what's going to end up happening is that they will end up taking people out of hotels and they will be put into flats, or they will be put into HMOs in the community, which means that your rent or your house price when you want to move will be higher. Or the perverse situation will be that Labour, one of the few good things they're doing, I think, is actually trying to build more houses, and they're going to end up putting the people that they're having to rehouse from hotels in the houses that they're building
for free. And they'll outbid you for them. This is the other thing that's going to come down the track. They're going to end up outbidding people for these houses.
The thing that will work is to stop them coming rather than trying to manage it when they do.
OK. By the way, if anyone else wants to get involved in this conversation, I know it's a hot topic for a lot of people. Just wave your hands, get involved. Someone who's not been on yet would be fantastic. Jane, we'll just work our way down the line. Jane, what do you make of this?
Well, smash the gangs was always nothing more than a slogan. I knew Labour didn't have the stomach to do... We need some quite definite extreme measures to solve this problem. It is a problem that we share with a lot of European countries, with the United States, and you need to get tough. And I'm afraid Labour, they complained when the Bibi Stockholm, which was perfectly reasonable place to put, it wasn't plush enough, but I think Keir Starmer now, it's a mathematical problem. There are so many people in hotels, you cannot find alternative accommodation. So if all these councils are successful in saying, well, it's the same planning loophole here and we don't consider it legal, they are not going to have anywhere to stay.
Maths is now far right.
I know
maths is now far right.
Maths is far right, but I'm afraid, and Labour MPs have been trotted out, and Barry said it a few weeks ago, saying, oh, hotel use is down, which implied there were fewer people in hotels. There are 8% more people in hotels than when Labour came into power. Asylum claims are up 14%. The maths, I'm afraid, became very clear today to all of us.
Starting to realise why Barry took his holiday
But they've just got through Lisbon. That's what it is. They're
He's
just there
it's very interrailing with
possibly with Ed Balls and grief. Look, I think this issue today that there was a range of options the government could have done in relation to the Bell Hotel. One of those options would be to actually use this as gosh, there's nothing we can do now. It turns out these illegal migrant hotels have been illegal themselves all along. Let's just maybe start deporting people. They didn't do that. This is going to. I don't want to say the words. This is going to kick off, but it's going to fuel, I think, some of the tensions in society at the moment.
Well, it shouldn't, because I've just got some notes from Barry, and here's the annoying thing. Here's the truth of it. They've not gone to war with the people, because the details of what's happening here is not that the government stepped in and go, no, we wish you to reverse your decision. The court just said it was an injunction, so you've got to go back to court to work out whether there's a planning problem anyway. And this was a case between the council and the private providers of the accommodation. The government weren't involved in it, and the government wanted to have an intervention, and the judge didn't allow it. And the reason for not allowing that intervention was timing. So they're just appealing against the lack of intervention.
Can I just say on that, because the government claimed, and this was a lie, right, the government claimed that they weren't aware of this court hearing. So at the 11th hour, so the government genuinely tried to claim that they were not aware that the Bell Hotel was going to the High Court and it was going to be heard that day, which is not...
Maybe they don't watch.
Maybe this...
That's what it is.
They're all interrailing.
Yeah.
They're not there.
But so it's not that they're going to court to try and reverse the decision. They're just saying the not allowing our intervention shouldn't be, and so they want that intervention. Now we don't know what that intervention is. We'll find out, won't we? But the newspapers are going with the war event against the people. It's not. It's just disagreeing with what the judge said about this injunction.
Do you really think the intervention is going to be, well, we support the people and we want to secure this intervention is going to be that this happens?
But me saying I don't know the details of the intervention doesn't mean I think it'd be that. No, but it's also not true to say they're going to war with the UK people. They're disagreeing with the judge's decision on an intervention.
I kind of think... I'm sorry, I just kind of think they are. I think the mood, as the weekend would suggest, tomorrow, voters' attitudes towards migration are hardening as Keir Starmer faces mounting pressure over asylum seekers being housed in hotels. Migration has now overtaken the NHS as the second most important issue facing the country after the cost of living.
They might be related, the migration and the NHS.
Well, possibly.
The numbers of people using the NHS,
we
maybe.
We did see a Labour MP finally this week say we have to leave the ECHR.
Well, and the other joke of this, by the way, is that Labour MPs are now apparently, this was reported in the Daily Mail earlier, saying we need a Rwanda scheme. Yeah. After they scrapped it. They scrapped it on day one. He stood there proud as punch, didn't he? And scrapped it.
With no other deterrent. And we'd made it illegal to enter Britain on a small boat, and Labour cancelled it. So it's not illegal anymore.
What do you make some of that Labour hypocrisy, Jonathan?
That's what needs to be said. It's the same old nonsense that we've had to endure with this Labour Party, as they came in thinking that they would be able to solve it because they're good guys and that the lawyers wouldn't get in the way and they'd be able to get loads of deals, and the deal with France would basically mean we'd be able to return everyone. And lo and behold, Keir Starmer continuously have his trousers pulled around his ankles in every deal that he manages to do, and then giving away billions of pounds of taxpayers' money at the same time. It's just absolutely extraordinarily boring to now see Labour MPs calling for something which they had the power to do. But hey, I'm supposed that they'll find a way. I look forward to now seeing the arguments about Rwanda as a safe country.
Do you know, I'm still more horrified by the thought of interrailing with Ed Balls than Keir Starmer's trousers around his ankles. I just want to say that. It still horrifies me more.
Can you imagine getting on a train and sitting down and it's Yvette Cooper and Ed Balls next to you? So I've got to get out of here. Get out of here. But anyway,
conversation.
All right, well, just to emphasise again, there was some breaking news in the last hour. I imagine it will probably be on the front of one of tomorrow's newspapers. But, Reform have announced what they say is their plan to solve the illegal migrant crisis: arrest and detain everyone who arrives illegally, return people straight away to places like Afghanistan, Eritrea, use British overseas territories and make it a criminal offence for anyone who's deported to try to return. They say it'll cost 10 billion quid over 4 years. That's their plan. No doubt the other parties will be trying to pick that apart. No doubt Labour will be saying they're trying to do everything they possibly can to sort this crisis out.